Hey there, Leanne from Leanne Brunel Coaching. And first off, I just want to apologize for being fairly MIA these last few months. I've really been trying to practice what I preach and look after my own mental health. This last year or so it's been really hard. It's easily been the worst year of my adult life. And I've just very recently kind of just started to come out of survival mode and starting to really be able to process and move through what happened. I felt extremely hurt and betrayed by a number of people that were important to me. And with betrayal comes a lot of feelings like hurt and anger and sadness and everything else in between. And when you're carrying around all these heavy, yucky, sticky emotions, it can be hugely draining. If you've been through this before, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And it can absolutely suck all the joy out of your life. It can cause resentfulness. It can cause you to put walls up around your heart. And I don't know if you've ever been there, but it is really not a fun place to be. And it took me, it's embarrassing to say a little bit because this is what I do for work, but it really took me quite a long time of sitting in the muck of it all to really start to realize that what I needed to do was to work on forgiveness. And I know when I tell people that it's really important to work on forgiveness, I know a lot of people really dig their heels in really hard and they say, well, why on earth should I forgive this person when what they did was so hurtful and so wrong? And I feel like if I forgive them, it's like I'm letting them off the hook for this awful thing that they did to me. And all I have to say is, I get it. Even though intellectually I knew it's what I needed to do to move out of this stuck, yucky place that I was in, there was a huge part of me that absolutely refused. And probably a part of me too that just really wasn't ready for that. Because, really I was still dealing with a lot of really deep and really intense hurt. And no one has apologized or acknowledged the pain that they've caused me. So what I had to remind myself was, forgiveness is not for the other person. It's for me. I can choose to never have anything to do with any of these people if I want. But by forgiving them, it means I don't have to carry around this big, heavy load of hurt and resentment and all the other things that go along with that. I can be free of all of that. In other words, by forgiving someone, you aren't condoning what they did, and you don't have to change anything about your relationship with them or your lack of relationship with them. It just means that you're free to move on without any negative energetic ties between you. So today, I want to run through a process that's a little bit different than the tapping that I normally do, but it's a really fast way to move through and process those negative emotions so forgiveness can start to feel possible for you. So first off, I don't want you to pick the biggest traumatic event of your life. Please work through that with either me or your own therapist or a trauma-informed coach. Today I want you to work on something that's like a mid-level thing. Somebody wronged you and you haven't been able to let it go. It can be something recent or from the past. Either is okay. So we're going to do a somatic practice where we aren't letting our mind run off with its stories and its justifications and its righteousness. We're simply going to get curious and focus on any sensations that might arise in the body. When we get all caught up in our story, we're essentially just jumping on that hamster wheel of misery. We're continuing to pour gasoline on the fire, making ourselves feel like shit. So in this process, we're going to step away from our stories and start to become present in our body. By doing so, we enable the stuck energy to move out and flow out of our body quickly and effortlessly. For minor events, I don't know, somebody was rude to you at the grocery store, this process can move you out of those negative emotions really, really quickly. And for larger events, you may want to repeat the process over the course of a few days to be sure you've cleared all the associated emotions out. So hopefully you have your person ready. Again, nothing huge or traumatic. Something that if you were to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 on how intensely negative you feel about this person, like something no higher than about a 6. Now you might be kind of a multitasker, maybe a better multitasker than I am, but I have a really hard time going through all of the tapping points and focusing in on sensations in my body at the same time. So what I'm going to do is just tap on the collarbone point, so just kind of below the end of my collarbone here. But if you're an experienced tapper and you want to go through all the tapping points as we do this exercise, by all means, go ahead. Okay, let's get started. So if it feels safe for you, please close your eyes and get comfortable. If you're not already tapping on your collarbone points, go ahead and start tapping gently and at whatever pace feels good for you. So what I'm going to have you do is take 3 long, slow, deep breaths. Breathing all the way down to the bottom of your belly. And on each exhale, I just want you to see if you can let your shoulders drop, let your body get comfortable. Good. Now I just want you to notice your body in space. We live so much of our lives in our heads that really we don't spend a lot of time present in our bodies. Maybe if something is not feeling well, we might notice it, but again, we generally are trying to push it away and avoid it. But for right now, let's try move back down into the body. I'll have you notice maybe your back against the back of your chair, your seat in the chair, and your feet wherever they happen to be resting. And just noticing the gentle rise and fall of your stomach as you breathe. Good. So now I would like you to very briefly just turn your attention to this person who wronged you and the situation or event surrounding this. And as you do so, you're probably noticing some sensations arise in the body, some emotions. Now what I would like you to do is press pause on this story. Just freeze it all. And I'd like you to turn your attention to the sensation in your body. This emotion, whatever it happens to be. Just notice where it's living in your body right now. You can notice things like how big it is, where it lives in your body. You can notice the boundaries of this. Maybe you can even notice if it has a shape. Maybe it has a texture. I want you to get really curious about this sensation in your body. Kind of like you're a scientist or an explorer, really trying to figure out what all this is about. Learning all about it. So often when we have these uncomfortable sensations in our body, our natural reaction is to try and push it away, to get rid of it, to distract ourselves from it. And that's normal. That's okay. But for right now, let's just try and be with this sensation the best we can. And it's really helpful if we can maintain a nice, curious attitude and just noticing what we can notice about this sensation. If I were to ask you to describe it, how would you describe it? What shape is it? If it had a color, what color would it be? Is it heavy? Is it light? Is it hot? Is it cold? What can you notice about this sensation? And as you're looking at it, do you notice that it's changing in any way? Maybe it's traveling around the body, or maybe it's very still. You might even start noticing that whatever emotion you started off with, that emotion might be fading a little bit. Maybe it's even changing into another emotion. Whatever it's doing is totally okay. Just be curious about that. What's here now? And now I'd like you to gently take your attention from the sensation in the body, and we're going to turn back towards the story, the scene, the situation, the person. And I want you just to hit play on that again. See this person who wronged you. See what they're doing. And feel those emotions start to rise. Good. Now let's hit pause again and turn back to those feelings in the body. Let's see what you notice this time. Has it moved? Has it changed? What's different? And if you're noticing that your mind keeps wanting to turn back to the story, that's okay. Minds are a little bit like wild horses. That's what they do. They're a little hard to control, these minds of ours. And that's okay. So whenever you notice that your mind has wandered off into story, just gently bring it back to the sensations in the body. Describing it to me, whatever you see, whatever this sensation is right now. Color, shape, texture, movement. Notice what's here now. And just breathe right into that sensation, especially if it feels really stuck or really difficult. Imagine you could breathe right into the center of it, kind of like you're aerating it, loosening the energy a little bit. And just noticing with curiosity, what emotion am I feeling right now? And is it still the same as when we started? Has it changed? What's here now? And if you're not sure what the emotion is or what to label it, that's okay too. Just notice the sensations. Good. We're going to go one last time to look at our story. So hitting play again. Watching this movie play out again of this person who wronged you. Letting the emotion rise. and hitting pause. Gently turning the attention back to the body, back to the sensations. And if it feels safe to do so, see if you can find the center of where this sensation feels the strongest. And if that doesn't feel safe, it's totally okay to stay out on the periphery of this sensation. There's nothing wrong with that. Being curious, noticing any differences, any changes in location or size or shape or intensity. What are you noticing now? And again, if the sensation feels strong, imagine you could breathe right into the center of it. Sending some healing oxygen right to the center of this sensation. Loosening the energy just a little. And again, noticing if the mind has run back off to the story and gently bringing it back. No judgment. This is what minds do. Good. And really just being with this sensation for the last few moments here. With your soft, kind attention. It's okay that this feeling is here. There's nothing wrong with this feeling. Okay. Keep your eyes closed. You can stop tapping. And I'd like you to take 2 more deep breaths. And on the exhale, just blow any remaining energy out. Good. So you may still be feeling some emotions right now, and so if you want to repeat this process right now, you certainly can go back and do that, or feel free to come back to this later today or tomorrow to really help move out the layers, move out any stuck remaining emotions that you might have. Depending on the situation, there might be several layers of emotion to deal with. For example, the last time I did this exercise, I started out the first couple of rounds with pretty strong anger, and then I found it moved into hurt and to sadness and finally to grief, because I had the realization that I don't think this person is going to continue to be in my life going forward. So do keep coming back to this exercise and keep repeating it until you start feeling more neutral about this person and this situation. And once you get there, what you're going to start experiencing is this feeling of lightness and ease, because you aren't carrying around all this stored negative energy in your body anymore. And if you do happen to run into this person, what you also are going to find is that you're not feeling so charged up about them anymore. You're not going to feel triggered around them. And setting any boundaries that you need to set around them is going to come from a place of self-care and not from a place of anger or resentfulness. So I hope this helped you. If you like this, please go ahead and like and share this video. And if you have any questions or comments about this process, I would love to hear from you. So until next time, bye for now.